Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make these simple, yes I said simple, but striking Christmas cupcake toppers. The reason they are so easy to make is just because I've used two very basic pieces of equipment. They are time consuming, but as long as you know how to use the equipment properly, they are very easy to do. You don't have to be neat when it comes to painting because I'm far from neat. I don't have a very steady hand. Because everything's embossed, it's so easy to paint them. I can't express how easy these are to make. They are just time consuming. But one good thing about having them set in such a way, you'll notice they are domed. You can make these well in advance, and then when your freshly baked cupcakes are due, you can just place them directly on top. It's just sugar. It will last indefinitely. Happy baking, everyone, and dare I say it, Merry Christmas. And I will be back soon with more Christmassy tutorials. In order to make these outstanding cupcakes, I am using the cookie set Sweet Stamps by Amy Cakes. I will leave a link to her website in the description below this tutorial. I also have a set of brushes, and I am also using the Snowflake Katie Sue mould. These are a fantastic investment, and just by using these simple pieces of equipment, we're going to create those stunning cupcakes. You're going to need the Renshaw's turquoise blue or a colour of your choice, some Tylo powder, a rolling pin. Here I have a teaspoon and a large round circle cutter. In order to turn your fondant into modelling paste, you need to add 1 level teaspoon of Tylo powder to every 250 gram of fondant. Simply knead this in, and once you have kneaded in all of the powder, you will have your own homemade modelling paste. The reason I'm using modelling paste is because it sets nice and hard. Now I'm choosing to roll mine in between these 5mm spaces. Simply sprinkle down your surface and roll out the modelling paste so that you can keep it the thickness that you want. Again, I'm doing mine in between these spaces, so mine will be exactly 5mm. But don't worry if you don't have spaces, it's not a necessity. This is the sort of thickness that you're aiming to achieve because we are going to be letting these set as a domed shape. Now then, we're going to be doing the ones with the embossed snowflakes on first. So taking your Snowflakes Katie Sue mould, I find it easier to cover these with a small amount of vegetable fat rather than icing sugar. Simply spread this deep down into each of the snowflakes. We will then be picking up the modelling paste that we have rolled out, placing it on top of our embossing mat and really pushing it in so we don't miss any of the snowflakes at all. Once you have finished pushing the modelling paste into all of those snowflake shapes, you then want to smooth off the back by taking your rolling pin and just rolling it over. Now we need to remove the mat, so I simply flip mine the other way around and gently peel it away, and just look at that beautiful embossed effect that these mats leave behind. All you need to do now, taking your large round circle cutter, is cut out a circle of modelling paste. All I have here is something called a foam ball. I've covered it with a small amount of icing sugar, and it will just allow our cut out circle to set in a domed shape. This then means that you can make these well in advance because it's sugar and it lasts indefinitely, and then place them directly onto your freshly baked cupcakes, but there will still be enough room for you to add plenty of buttercream. You want to repeat this process 2 more times, depending on the amount of cupcakes you're making, so that you have 3 that all look like this. If you just gently push down the sides, try and keep them even. And if I lift this up towards the camera, not only can you see that beautiful embossed effect on there, just look how stunning that is, and wait until it's painted. But it will set, as mentioned, in a lovely domed shape. The next step for these cupcakes is to actually paint the snowflakes. So I'm choosing to use the Rainbow Dust Metallic range. I've got the dark silver and this beautiful metallic midnight blue. You're going to need a relatively fine brush, so I shall be using the smaller one that you can see here. And I'm literally just going to paint each snowflake at a time. Now, this is quite time consuming, but it's extremely effective. I must point out that these are very easy to paint simply because the embossed part of the cupcake is all raised up. So you really can't go wrong. It is time consuming. Do take your time doing this process. I personally don't find that I'm very good with a paintbrush, yet I managed to create these. I will speed this up for you and simply repeat this for all of your snowflakes. Use different colours, mix them together, and do this for all 3 of the cupcake toppers. Now we need to create our other 3 cupcakes. Now for this, I'm going to be using the cookie set by Sweet Stamps by Amy Cakes. And basically, they're just very, very small letters. Now you want a needle and some tacky fondant to help you get them off their backing board. That part there is just a small piece of plastic. These are quite new, so they've never really been used before. Once they've been used and you've got all those sections out, the letters are an awful lot easier to remove from the board. The board that it's actually on is fantastic. When I first purchased these, I wondered how I would actually store them. They are so easy to store. You literally just place it back into that little slot. Now, before we do the cupcake toppers for these, I recommend you take out the letters that you need first. So in this example, I'm going to be doing ho, ho, ho. Now, there's only one H that I'm going to be using, but there are 2 O's. Take them out just because we're going to be using modelling paste, and you do not want that modelling paste to start to set before you have embossed them. So all I have done with this is repeated the process that we did at the beginning of this tutorial, except I haven't embossed it with snowflakes. Now, to use the Sweet Stamp by Amy Cakes, you simply place on each little letter. Remember, this is the cookie set if you choose to purchase them. Once you have pushed them firmly into your modelling paste, taking some tweezers, just gently pull away the letters that you're going to need again. So I need the H. You can remove the O as well if you want to, but we do have another O. There's 2 actually in that set. Simply repeat this process for all of your lettering. As soon as you have added your modelling paste to your foam ball again, so it sets in a nice dome shape, and you've left it to set, it's then time to paint it. Now for these, I am using the Sweet Stamp by Amy Cakes brushes. They come in a set and you can also purchase them from her website. And I'm sticking with my metallic silver and metallic midnight blue. Using the finest of both of the brushes, just look how small that tip is. That is what I'm going to be using to paint my ho, 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 and the other words that I've created on my other two cupcake toppers. I must emphasize, I do not believe that I am very good with a paintbrush. Now, this is a slightly different way of embossing, so you can accidentally touch the sides by accident, so do be careful. This embossing has gone into the cake, whereas when we used the Katie Sue mats, it was raised above the fondant, so it's a little bit easier to paint. So take your time and simply repeat this process for all three of the cupcakes that you have created using the Sweet Stamp by Amy Cakes set. I'm now going to use this Katie Sue mat in a different way, using some very good model paste and some Trex vegetable fat. I have found you can actually take out those really fragile snowflakes from the mat itself, so it can be used in two different ways. It's very versatile. So I want to do this for the remaining cupcakes that have been embossed with the letters, and then I'm simply going to paint those whilst they are directly on top of the cupcakes. So using a Dresden tool, because obviously these snowflakes are very, very intricate, I simply just push in some of that Saracino model paste. Now it's really warm at the minute, this model paste, because I've had it in my hands. However, once you've left it in the mould for a short while, Saracino is fantastic because it remains bendy, but it won't be as soft and as sticky, and you will be able to remove them from this mat. Again, I'm using my Dresden tool just to help remove these snowflakes from my mat. But as you can see, if you take your time, I won't lie, they are quite fiddly, but they are so detailed and so intricate. It is worth investing in these mats and just taking that little bit of extra time to make your Christmas cupcakes just that little bit more magical. All you need to do now using some edible glue is stick the snowflakes directly onto the three remaining cupcakes that have all been embossed with your Christmassy words. Again, sticking with the silver and the midnight metallic blue, all I'm going to do now is go over these beautiful snowflakes. Now, these are raised up again, so they are a lot easier to paint. Take your time, do them in different various colours, so mix them together just so that they match with the cupcakes that we made at the beginning of this tutorial. And there we have it, your show-stopping Christmas cupcakes, literally made just using two different pieces of equipment. Just look how effective they are. Now remember what I said, these can be made well in advance because it's just sugar. Your cupcakes can be freshly baked just before Christmas, and then you simply place these on top. It's different, but it is actually relatively simple to make, just time consuming. So I would recommend these cupcakes for new bakers because they're simple, they're striking, but they look complex. It's just knowing what to use and how to do it. And once you've done that, the world is your oyster. Go for it, everyone, and Merry Christmas. And I will be back soon with more new free content.